hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie, and I have 10 more shore living DIYs for you using supplies from the Dollar Tree. So the first one is one of my favorites. I'm just going to use one of these little seahorse signs from the shore living at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to go ahead and give it a coat of paint just to kind of cover up everything we've got on there. It's got some glitter and stuff like that. As you can see, this one was even misprinted. Now, if you can't find this one, which is a little bit bigger than the raw wood one, you could use that one as well. Your seahorse is just going to be a little bit smaller. But what I want to do is take this piece. I'm just giving it kind of a coat of chalk paint and distressing it with a little antique wax by Waverly to kind of give it a driftwood feel. Now, the reason that we're doing that is that we're going to make it into a driftwood seahorse. I used to have one of these that I spent big money on and it fell apart. So we're going to try to make it with some of this driftwood from Target. It is a vase filler, and my Target has it all the time. I always try to watch for the sales, and I stock up because it's a really good driftwood to craft with. It's nice and flat, easy to glue down, and just a nice clean driftwood. If you're lucky enough to have lots of driftwood from the beach, you could try it. But we're gonna make it look really good. This piece turned out really high end. I still have it in my house all the time. I love looking at it. So just kind of like a puzzle. We're just going to start hot gluing the driftwood everywhere. I kind of try a piece. If it kind of fits, that's good. If not, I'll put it back and then look for another one. Just like, you're putting together a puzzle, you're looking for a long piece, a short piece, a wide piece, and you can always overlap them like that too. I'm just trying to cover up as much of the seahorse as I can. The reason I painted it and kind of distressed it first was for any of the cracks in between any pieces, just to kind of make it look better. And I just keep building. I'm kind of working in one direction, but I do kind of try to follow the edges as well. Just kind of filling it all in. And driftwood projects, they're easy, but they do take a little while. I have it all sped up here for you, so I don't keep you here all day. But I'm just using Gorilla Glue hot glue and gluing those all on. This little piece over here, the little fin on the back of the seahorse, a little tricky. But I've got some weird looking pieces as well. And sometimes if I really need to, I sometimes break it. Or try to cut them down a little bit, but usually I don't have to. Usually I can make it work. If it doesn't work flat, it might work on its side. They're really fun to put together a driftwood project like this. And we're going to keep working down this bumpy little tail, kind of trying to follow the bumps in it with the little edges of my driftwood to bring out all that detail. Now, I end up doing this to both sides of the seahorse to make it like a more three-dimensional driftwood seahorse. That's what I had before, and I thought it looked good. Doesn't look super flat, but if you only want to do one side, you totally could get away with it. But I really like the hefty feel of doing both sides of the seahorse. So it looks like this side is doing pretty good. Just kind of try to fill in any little holes that I may see. Because you do want it to have a depth to it. A certain thickness. Just kind of filling in the belly area. And any areas I think just needs a little bit more. It's kind of just a judgment call when you think you're done. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And so let's start on the other side. It's already brown, so I don't have to worry about any of that blue or glitter or anything showing through. I am just gluing directly to it. And this is going to be the back of mine anyway. It's just going to give you that 3D vibe that I was going for. And you could always hang it too. It could be really cute on both sides if you wanted to hang it, like from a ceiling or something like that. But I'm just going to do the same thing. As you can tell on the back, I'm not too concerned about like a design. I'm actually going sideways instead of up and down, just trying to get as much coverage as I can on there with the driftwood that I have left. And I have ordered driftwood before on Amazon. I think I have that linked in my Amazon shop below. I find you don't get a lot. I really prefer working with the Dollar Tree driftwood. I usually always go back to that. It is a very light color wood, and we are going to stain it today to make it look a little bit more like driftwood, less like this bleached wood that it looks like right now. And so the back was kind of a easy peasy version of covering it all. And we can start staining it. So just using Antique Wax by Waverly and a little chunky brush so I can get down into all of the little nooks and crannies of my driftwood. We're just going to start staining it all over. I like to wipe off the excess with just a baby wipe to make sure it doesn't get too dark. But I did want a nice good stain all over this, and you can see how pretty that looks after you stain it. So much character in this piece. I really love it. Nobody would know that this was a cheap Dollar Tree Shore Living sign. So we're going to do the same thing here on the front. As you can tell, like this side is the side that is my front. So I think my details are a lot better on this. Kind of how I kind of flared out like the fin. And I kind of like this up and down look a little bit better than the other side. So I do about half of the stain or the antique wax and then wipe it off so it doesn't dry, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the tail. And this is one of my favorite Shore Living DIYs that I've ever done. I think it's just so pretty. So we got that all stained and just wiping off the excess, and you can kind of see the edges because you know it is a 3D piece. So I am just going to go in and stain all of the edges as well to completely finish it off. And as you saw, I left like the original hanger on there, and so no need to make a hanger or anything. And this is how it looks hanging in my home. I think it's so pretty. It's one of the first things you see when you come in my house. I love it. My little driftwood seahorse. Okay, next DIY, I actually got this little tray at Goodwill for 50 cents on sale. And I thought it would be the perfect thing to put one of the little Shore Living Dollar Tree canvases in. And I love these little birds. I think they're so cute. I love seeing these at the beach. And I thought we could cover the bottom of that Goodwill tray with the canvas. Just another little fun application. And it's going to have way more character than just the canvas, I think. Now, I wasn't a big fan of the orange wood that this was, so I thought we could distress it by mixing like a little ivory acrylic paint with some Antique Wax by Waverly, kind of give me that nice driftwood color, and just start kind of distressing this piece all over. And it's okay if a little bit of that color shines through, but just mainly trying to distress most of that out of here, kind of going around all the edges, because you're going to be able to see those once I cover the bottom of the tray with the canvas. And you're going to be able to see like the outside of the tray too. So we're going to distress that all the way around. And it really took this little 50-cent tray from Goodwill up a notch for sure. It looks way better now. This is another piece that I kind of display year-round. I really love how it turned out. I'm not going to worry about the bottom because that's where the canvas is going to be. So you're not going to be able to see that. And I want my glue to stick down to that, so I'm avoiding paint on the bottom. So now it's time to remove the canvas. I'm just using my razor blade and going around all 4 edges of the canvas to cut it free. It's usually pretty easy to do this. The only tricky part is the corners where they kind of have it overlapped and stapled down. So we're just gonna snip those. This tray, you're gonna wanna look for something a little bit smaller than your canvas so you can custom make this. But they have some Dollar Tree signs too that work well for this. I think in one of my, maybe not my last shore living video, but the one before. And so I'm kind of measuring how big this tray is so I'll know exactly how big to cut this out. And we're just going to trim it down until it fits in here. And I hope you guys are enjoying all of this content. I have been a busy girl this month in April. So far, I have had 7 videos in 2 weeks. 7 videos in 2 weeks. It's pretty good, huh? I hope you guys are enjoying them. We're really trying to grow this channel. And we're really close to 15,000 subscribers, and I have been trying to get there. I am thinking that we need to do another giveaway like we did last year this time when we hit 5,000 subscribers. And last year I gave away a lot of shore living items, so I'm thinking that might be a good idea this year too, especially since they can be tricky to find. One of my stores still doesn't have it out, and my other stores are almost sold out, so it's crazy. So I got it cut to size. We're going to cover the bottom of the tray with just a thick layer of Mod Podge to glue that canvas down well. Just kind of sit it in there and smooth it out. Super easy. I'm not going to Mod Podge or anything on top. I think it's going to be fine as is. Just trying to get any of the excess glue that may have seeped out along the edges and the corners out of there. And this little thrift flip is complete with a little Dollar Tree Shore Living shorebird canvas inside. You could do this with any of them. They have so many beautiful shore living prints. I love them. And this is how it turned out. Okay, are you ready for another DIY? This one is one of my favorites. I used 2 of the little shore living jars, a piece of craft wood, some battery operated candles, and 2 of these long shore living signs. I'm going to use the seahorse one and the anchor one. Not a big fan of the color on the anchor one because I want more of a beachy coastal feel, so we'll change the color on that one. But what we're going to do is, I'm not a big fan of the long signs, but we are going to convert them into little wall sconces, and it's turned out so cute. So I'm going to need a little shelf to put my little jar candle on. So I'm just going to cut that Dollar Tree craft wood down to size and make a cute little shelf. And since we're making 2 wall sconces, we're definitely going to need 2. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a second one down for later. So I'm kind of trying to determine how big I want to make these, where I want to attach the shelf, because I don't want to include the entire long sign. I just want it to be long enough to make a really cute wall sconce. This DIY would be great for indoor or outdoor. I used mine indoor, but it would be great outdoor too. So I cut that long sign down to size that I thought would be a great size, and then we're going to do the same thing here with the second seahorse sign. So we have 2 signs the same length with those cute little cutouts in there, and 2 shelves that we cut out of a piece of Dollar Tree craft wood. Now, this is the one that I was not crazy about the color at all. So let's go ahead and start distressing this to make it look a little bit more coastal. I'm just starting with ivory kind of all over to cover up that like deep blue color. And I wanted to do something, you know, beachier. So we're going to make this a lighter color of blue. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the shelf too, since I'm going to want everything on my little wall sconce to be the same color. And this is the color that I'm using. I think this is the turquoise color. Just a nice, bright, beachy blue color. And distressing all over, I kind of like that distressed vibe because it looks very coastal farmhouse. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to do the same thing here on the little shelf that we made. And this craft wood is really thick. So it's going to provide a nice sturdy shelf, even though the sign that I'm attaching it to is, you know, not too thick. It's one of those thin Dollar Tree signs. So it's going to need a little bit more stability. So I am going to do a wood block underneath of it. I happen to have some of these little Jenga blocks from Five Below, but you could use like any kind of a piece of wood. I just want another piece for under there. So I painted ivory and then turquoise so that it matches everything else. Now I want to decorate the bottom of this with twine. So I just glue a little Dollar Tree twine to the back of our sign and wrap that around just until I'm happy with it and glue that to the back. That's going to give it a fun coastal beachy touch with that wrapped jute underneath our little shelf. So I have the craft wood for the shelf, and then this one is going to be the brace that kind of goes under it that makes it sturdier. I attached that to our sign with hot glue right above our jute twine, and then glue the shelf on, also gluing it to the wood block underneath of it to make it nice and sturdy. So this is what we have so far. Since I am putting a glass shelf on there, even though I'm using a battery operated candle, I want it to be super sturdy. So I just take a few screws and go in the back of the sign into the wood block to make it a little bit sturdier. So that looks good. We can go ahead and reattach to the hanger that came with the sign. And now I want to start the construction of the second one the same way. This one is the seahorse cutout, and I love that like wood color. I think that really looks beachy, so I think that one's going to be fine as is. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the first one. We're going to wrap it with the Dollar Tree twine just a few times, securing that on the back. And we're going to build this one the same way. Since I am not really painting it, I'm just going to leave the raw wood raw. I think it's going to be okay. I glue my little Jenga block down first, and then glue my shelf on. This one was even easier to put together since I didn't have to paint anything. But you could paint it. It would be pretty if you did it like in ivory or a different shade of blue too. I'm going to display mine together as a set. So I'm going to put a couple screws in the block in the back on this side too, just to make it sturdier. Then I'm going to use like the turquoise colored Shore Living jar with the little starfish and twine on it on the wood one. I like the contrast of the blue against the wood. And to make sure it stays put, I hot glue it to the little shelf that we made. And then on the turquoise one, I'm going to use the clear Shore Living jar against the blue one and glue that in place as well. I'm just going to use battery operated candles in this to make it even safer, but they turned out so cute. Now to start with, I thought a little sand would be good in the little candle holders. It's going to add another coastal beachy touch. Try not to get it everywhere like I did. And then pop in some battery operated candles that are going to be super easy to switch out when the batteries die in them. Aren't they cute? We have two little wall sconces using signs from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree. And this is how they look all lit up and hanging in my home. Okay, the next DIY is going to be one of these little Shore Living signs. It says, "Let the sea set you free." I like part of the sign. I don't really like the dark part on the top, so I thought we would DIY it a little bit just to make it look a little bit better. I'm not sure if they have this again this year. They've had it the last couple of years, but not totally sure. I start with just the seahorse painting it ivory, and then I'm going to kind of distress the sign as well with some ivory to kind of give me that coastal farmhouse vibe. And I'm not really sure because my sections have been really shopped. If yours have as well, I'm sure the Shore Living stuff, as soon as they put it out, people really want it. Now, I didn't like the navy part at the top, so I'm just going to paint it all ivory. I kind of have a plan to kind of decorate that. All of the writing are on the bottom two signs anyway. You can also cut those signs off if you don't really like one piece of them, especially the top. But I thought I would use just some rolled burlap. This is a roll that I got at Walmart, but they have burlap at Dollar Tree now too. And I am just going to cut down a piece of burlap the same size as that little top sign. And we're going to kind of mask that with some burlap. It's going to provide like another little texture to this and give me a cute little coastal background. Just cutting that down to size. Burlap's pretty easy to cut because you can just cut along the grain and you can make it as frayed as you want it as well. I'm going to glue that down with a thick layer of Mod Podge. Just a quick little easy makeover. You can take these signs and add to them, change things you don't like, and make them perfect for your home. We are experiencing one of those Florida tropical downpours outside. If you can hear that, I'm sorry. And then I'm going to take a little starfish from the clothespins from the Shore Living line, pop it off the clothespin, glue it onto the burlap, and I like that a lot better. It's more simple. It doesn't have any of that dark blue, which really doesn't go with my coastal decor, but the burlap and the starfish totally do. So just a quick, easy makeover to give you some inspiration to how you can kind of make over those Dollar Tree signs and make them look even better. Super cute. Okay, are you guys ready for another DIY? This is the little mermaid tails. You get 3 in a package, and I was kind of inspired by one of y'all to make this. I want to make like a little sign with 3 little mermaid tails hanging down. Now, I'm going to use one of these mermaid canvases that they've had the past 2 years with the Shore Living line. Again, I'm not sure if they have it again this year, but you could really use about anything. It's just going to make it easier because it already says mermaids and it's already a great color. But I'm just going to use my little fine-tipped glue gun, and we are just going to start putting hot glue on all of the mermaid scales to give a great texture and the lines along the tail. I want to make these really beautiful textured tails kind of hanging down underneath each one. It's gonna look really cute, and I love these little tails. I always pick these up. This is the 3rd year my stores have had the Shore Living stuff, and so these are one of my favorites. And then I'm going to do that on all 3 tails. Now, try to make sure that you don't have any strings, because when you do paint to distress it, you will be able to see those for sure. Sometimes I use my hot glue gun just to melt down, or not my hot glue gun, my heat gun, just to melt down the little strings. It works really well. I'm going to mix a couple colors together to get me the perfect beachy blue for these tails. I'm going to use Caribbean blue and ivory together. I just want a really soft blue. And I'm going to go with a brush over all of this. And so I can get down in between all of the mermaid scales on the mermaid tail. And this is a pretty close match to what was already on that canvas. And I'm going to do that on all 3. Now, if you don't want all of your tails to be the same color, it'd be really cute to like ombre that too. Like make each one like a slightly different color of blue. Might have to try that this year with these. Now, since it is like a mobile piece and they're going to be kind of dangling down, I don't want the backs to look half painted like that. I think that looks kind of unfinished. So, might as well just go ahead and quickly paint the backs as well. So we have 3 little blue mermaid tails. Now to bring out all that beautiful texture that we painted on there, I'm going to distress it with some ivory. Kind of wiping off the excess with a baby wipe. giving that really fun coastal distressed look to those, and it really brings out like all of the texture on there as well. And I'm gonna do the same thing with all of these. The first time that I ever heard it really rain like it's doing right now in Florida, I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd seen it rain hard, but I didn't know anything until I moved here. It rains really hard here. Okay, so I like the blue on this, but I kind of want it to look distressed as well. So I'm just going to go over the canvas. I love it, but I just want to distress it slightly with some of that ivory paint too, to kind of make it go with the vibe of the little mermaid tails that I'm going to hang dangling below it. Now I just need to drill 3 holes, trying to kind of measure those perfectly and drill those in there. This canvas was a little tricky to work with just because that MDF is kind of a little crazy. It kind of like caves in a little bit there on the inside, even though I was doing a good job of drilling it, not like forcing it in or anything, but we're gonna make it work. So we have 3 holes, and then I want to attach like twine to those little tails, string that into the canvas, and then we can have them like dangle down. So I'm gonna get 3 pieces of Dollar Tree twine, all the same size, and feed these through. I thought it would be easier to use like a giant needle for this, but sometimes I have success just by putting like hot glue at the end. I double both ends inside the canvas and do like a little overhand knot in there to keep it from falling down, and then you're gonna have a little tail dangling below. I thought it was dangling a little low, so I did shorten that a little bit. So I'm gonna feed that through my second one, and then feed both pieces of twine through again, and just tie a knot inside there to secure it. This was really easy to put together. Probably the only time-consuming part was making the scales on the mermaid tails, but totally worth it. They turned out so cute, and I highly recommend that technique. Now they have mermaid scale burlap. I haven't used it yet, but one of y'all did, and I think in my Facebook group, one of you guys put that you found the secret to make the Mod Podge not fray when you're covering the mermaid tail, and they Mod Podged it first, let it dry. Can't remember who it was. Let it dry and then cut it out, and no fraying. And they used that to cover a mermaid tail on one of the wood mermaids, and it looked so cute. Okay, I have a hanger on there and my tails. I just wanted one last detail on that canvas to add one of these little glass stickers from the Dollar Tree, a little starfish, just to provide a little bit more texture to that canvas. I love those glass stickers, and this year they have some of these colors in different shapes in the Shore Living line. These are just from the Crafter Square though. And I'm thinking it's looking really cute. What do you guys think about that? I do a quick distress over the starfish to kind of make it go with everything else. And I love this sign. I think it's so fun and whimsical. I hung this on the side of my cabinets for summer, and it turned out so cute. Now, I do my entire house in coastal, but I do really up it in the summer. I know some of you guys just use it for the summer in your home, but I use it year-round too. Hey guys, we're about halfway done. I wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about my private Facebook group. It's a place for you to share what you're working on. I can share with you guys when I have new videos. The link is down below. I also have a Facebook page where I post shorts or reels, and I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest at Crafty Beach on YouTube. Okay, next DIY. I want to use one of these signs. This one is actually from the Target Dollar Spot that I got on clearance. Isn't it cute? But they have very similar signs at Dollar Tree now. And then I want to use that little Shore Living fish. Don't know if they have those again this year. I know they have the chunkier, thick ones. that I used to make a school of fish in my last New Shore Living video. And you could probably do the same thing with them. It's going to be a thicker fish though. And you could always kind of paint it in this cool effect. I liked the wood background on there, but I did want to paint the frame just for a little variety. And I'm going to leave the fish as is. I love these fish. They're so cute from the Shore Living line. They're like white and 2 different colors of blue. So I'm going to mix that really light blue together. Again, the Caribbean blue and the ivory to get that real soft blue. And we're just going to paint the frame of this light blue just to give it a little contrast against the wood sign behind it. And this was a really easy DIY. Whenever you can get these blank signs at the dollar spot or Dollar Tree, they're always a super easy DIY. And we're just going to basically make just a super easy fish sign because this fish is so cute. Now, on my last Shore Living video where I made the school of fish with the new chunky fish, I did like the hot glue scales, and I kind of did like ombre colors on them, making them all slightly different. They turned out really pretty too, so you could totally do that with that fish too. I am just going to hot glue this one on. They had 2 of these last year. They had the skinny one that I made the big school of fish for the wall, but they also had this big fat one too, and I love him. I just glue him down. I think he looks so good on that sign. And then I need to make it a standing sign because I'm going to fill my cabinet with beach items. So I'm just going to glue a couple blocks to the back just to make it stand up. I am actually using those Jenga blocks from Five Below. I keep need to remember to go there. Every spring I get those. They go up a couple dollars every year, but they're really inexpensive for a box of blocks that are great for crafting. And I told you it was going to be easy. Here is our little DIY fish sign. And I really hope they have those this year. Last year, they put these fish out after everything else was almost gone, I noticed. I don't know. Maybe they'll do that again this year. Okay, are you ready for another DIY? We are going to make actually something big and functional using the little bamboo cutting boards from the Dollar Tree. I love these. And some of the Shore Living stencils. Now, my son needed a cabinet for his bathroom to store like all of his like vitamins and shaving cream and all that kind of stuff that sits all over the counter in the bathroom, right? And I thought I could make him something cool and make it coastal and beachy because of course he has a coastal bathroom, right? And I have been finding these in my stores again. Sometimes I can't find them, but sometimes I find a ton of them. I love them. They're nice and thick. They're made out of bamboo, and they are great for crafting. I want to personalize mine, though, with a Shore Living stencil. So the one that we're going to use on this one is the little seahorse. I think it's so cute. So I'm going to kind of start taping this off down a little bit so I can kind of place exactly where I want this seahorse to be, right up against that painter's tape. And kind of try to make sure that I center him too on my cutting board. And you know, this held up really well. My son's been using it for a year now, and I absolutely love it. So easy to clean, just worked great. Now I'm using a stencil dauber from the Dollar Tree and just some ivory paint. And we are going to stencil a little ivory seahorse right on the side. I taped it down fairly well as you can see, so it really did stay in place. Did a pretty good job without using any kind of spray adhesive or anything like that. Kind of marking the edge of my stencil just so I'll know exactly how to line that up on my other cutting boards because can't have just one seahorse, right? I want to decorate all of the side panels with a seahorse using a stencil. So we're just going to remove the tape. There's our cute little seahorse. I love it. I love the white on the wood. And then I'm going to continue that on to the next one using a piece of painter's tape as spacer. So I'll know exactly where to place that. And I marked the edges so I know exactly where to line that up to get it centered perfectly. So all of my seahorses will be the same. And this was the first time I built like almost furniture with these cutting boards, and I absolutely loved it. I do have some more of these. I'm gonna have to think about what else I can make with these. I love them. So I do the same thing, painting another little ivory seahorse on this. You know, you could always switch up colors too and make yours different colors. Blue would be really cute too. And we're just going to use that same Shore Living stencil on all of them. Have you guys seen the Shore Living stencils this year? That's another item that I haven't seen yet, but may have missed it. But I still have lots of them left over from last year. They had some really cute ones. The seahorse is probably my favorite. So I want to have like 2 cubbies on my cabinet. So I'm going to need a total of 4 seahorse sides, 2 sides for each cubby. So that is seahorse number 3. We're going to need 1 more painted here. Have you guys been able to find the Shore Living items at your store yet? I know a lot of you guys said that your stores didn't put anything out until after Easter, which is what has happened with my largest store, who just has empty aisles. And I'm like, honestly, if you need me to come in and volunteer to put out the Shore Living stuff, I will. There might not be anything left by the time I'm done because I'm going to buy it all, but I'm trying to use self-control this year. Okay, it's time to start putting this cabinet together. I take one of my blank cutting boards and I put hot glue all along the edges, and then using my square from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to use that to help me get perfectly square corner by hot gluing one of the seahorse sides to that. Right on top. That way it kind of sits on it, and gravity will kind of help keep that down against that shelf, make it sturdy. Now it's time to put the other side on. I want to get it square too. So I'm going to do a bead of hot glue again, put it on my square, and line that up. You have to act quick when you're working with hot glue, but you know, my son takes showers in this bathroom all of the time, and the hot glue has definitely held up. You could always use wood glue though if you wanted to. So here is the top of the cubby, another one of the blank bamboo cutting boards from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to attach it the same way we attach the bottom, a bead of hot glue on each side, and trying to keep it as square as possible. And you could secure it further with nails or screws, but honestly, I'm very surprised by how sturdy this ended up with just using Gorilla Glue hot glue. So now it's time for the second row of cubbies. So I'm going to use my square again to try to line that up. Sorry about my head. Sometimes you got to get in there and see exactly where this is going to go. I'm going to do a bead of hot glue along the bottom of that seahorse panel and line it up right there at the edge, sitting on top of it just like we did with the bottom one, using my square to make sure that it is square. And then we need to put the other side on the same way. Seahorse side out, a bead of hot glue along the bottom. And this side was a little trickier. I just kind of had to use my ruler to try to get a straight line over here. And hold it until it dries. And as you can see, it's not a small cabinet, it's actually pretty large. I'm going to secure the top the same way that we did the shelf in the middle by doing a bead of hot glue on each side and then laying that on top of the 2 side panels. I find it easier to kind of do both sides at once, like that. Making sure everything is square again. Now, I want it to be a cabinet and have legs. So I'm going to use some of these 5-gallon stir sticks from Walmart and make like little side panels to frame it in. And then the little handle for the stir are actually going to be the feet of the cabinet to keep it up off the kitchen or the bathroom counter. So I attach it with hot glue Everywhere it's going to attach, and it's going to glue all those pieces together, kind of making it flush with the top shelf there. And then the handle again is just one of the little legs. So we're going to do a paint stick. You're going to need 4 of these 5-gallon paint sticks, 1 for each corner. So we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm making sure to put hot glue on every single piece involved, so everything is going to be glued to the leg. It's going to help provide more sturdiness to this project. And I like that it kind of like frames in the cubbies and makes them look a little bit more high-end. And I'm just going to leave the raw wood. I think that looks really nice together with the bamboo. I do further secure it inside with a little bead of hot glue right in the corner, just to make it nice and strong. You won't be able to see that in the finished product. So we have 2 legs, so we need 4 to make it sit right? So we're going to do the same thing here on the back. Just hot glue everywhere it's going to go and stick on these paint sticks. I haven't crafted with these 5-gallon paint stirrers very much, but I think there's a lot of things you can make with them for sure. And they're very inexpensive. I think only a couple of dollars for a package of them. And glue that on the back. That is one thing that I have not found at the Dollar Tree, is the paint stirrers. Okay, and now I wanted my cabinet to have a back, and so I'm going to use some Dollar Tree rulers for that. Whenever you peel the stickers off these rulers, you're just going to get raw wood. It's actually going to have like a little bump out too. You can use that if you want the texture, or you can use the flat side. It's kind of up to you. What I want to do is cut these down to size and make a back to my cabinet. I think this makes it look really nice, but it probably makes it more secure too. Because again, we're gluing like both sides together. So I'm going to measure a ruler down to size, and then we can start cutting those out with my saw and making little back panel pieces for this. Just like that. I want to make sure that it's not visible from the front, so I cut it down a little bit shorter. Now we're going to do the same thing with my other Dollar Tree rulers until we cover the back. You get 2 of these in a package. I love crafting with these. They are a great source of wood. So I am going to cut down each one of the rulers that same exact size, making a little slatted back to my cabinet. I'm really glad I added this because it just made it so much more high-end. I mean, you are using more material, but it looks so cute. So about halfway, I glue 1 to each side, and then I do that on each end of my cubby too. And then doing 1 more in between. That's just how I'm spacing mine out. I'm not really measuring or anything, but they turned out pretty even. I'm going to do the same thing here in the bottom, finding the middle and gluing that down and doing the top, and then 1 in between, the bottom, and then 1 in between. And that's it. We have a cabinet. I do want to add a few more details to the front just to take it up a notch, but you can kind of see how it's all constructed. This would be really cute anywhere, but it just worked really well in my son's bathroom because he doesn't have a lot of places to put stuff like this. Now I wanted starfish on the front, and I wanted small ones, so I'm going to use some of these little white ones. I get these on Amazon. I have them linked in my Amazon shop below. They come in white or blue, and I love them. They're like the little Dollar Tree starfish, but smaller. And at first I was gonna like go really heavy on the starfish like this and do 5 on each side. But after I get them all secured on here, I thought it was a little bit too much on the starfish, so I do take some of them away. But I'll show you how it looks like with lots of starfish. It was heavy on the stars. Kind of reminded me of 4th of July. And so that's how it looks with all 10 on there. I liked it, but again, I thought it was just a little too much. So I'm going to act quickly, use my heat gun, and try to pop off like 2 from each side. Just to make it, just not so much. Kind of have like coming up from the bottom on the right side and then coming down from the top on the left side. And I like that a lot more. So on this side, I'm going to pop off 2 too, but on the bottom. And using my heat to make sure that I remove any hot glue from that. And I like that a lot better. It's a lot less overwhelming with all the stars. And this is how it turned out. My little bamboo cutting board Dollar Tree bathroom cabinet with the little shore living seahorses stenciled on the side. And the handles make really cute little legs for that. And I wanted to show you how it looks in my son's bathroom. As you can see, he has a cool sign on his door. And this is how it looks piled up with all of his bathroom stuff. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, let's do another DIY. This one's going to be really easy. We're going to use one of the glass stickers from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree and a little Dollar Tree frame. I picked this one up because the wood was great for coastal. It doesn't have glass or anything in it. It's got wood bead handle on the top. I thought it was super cute. So we're just going to pop the back out of this and we're just going to make a cute little mermaid sign. Now the paper was a little loose on there, so I tried to tear it off, but you know how those things are. They're like kind of half glued on there. But oh well, we're going to make it work. I wanted to do a cute little sign, so I'm going to cover it with some of that removable wallpaper from the Dollar Tree, the white board. I picked that up a lot because I think it looks really coastal, and just cut down a little square. And we can use that to cover up all of that ripped paper and give a plain background for the little glass sticker that we're going to go in with. These are great because they're just peel and stick. And some of my stores have the Shore Living stickers from last year. And some of them have all new ones with like dolphins and some really colorful ones. And so you could use any of these. I'm going to do the mermaid one to make a cute little coastal sign. And they say glass stickers, but they're just stickers. So you can stick them to anything, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick it right in the middle of our little sign. I think it looks really good on that, and I'm going to distress it slightly with some ivory to kind of make it look more like part of the sign and less like a plastic sticker. And then we can just pop that back into our frame. This one was really easy. I'm going to show you how it looks like displayed on my counter or on my shelf. But I ended up putting this like on the front of my fridge. And it was great there because it was a nice lightweight piece. This would be great for just about anywhere. I don't really have a very high resolution picture of this for some reason. I took a picture of the whole cabinet. But this is how it turned out. I think it's super cute. A little wonder by the sea, should you ever want to find me sign. I love the glass stickers. Now, this is a Shore Living sign, one of the galvanized metal ones with the little seahorse on there. And then I'm going to use some of this chunky slat wood from the Dollar Tree and a glass sticker for this DIY as well. Not a big fan of the galvanized metal signs. My stores do have these out again this year with the Shore Living line, but I don't know if they're new or if they still have them left over because I don't think they ever really sold out of them. I think a lot of people don't really know what to do with them, so I kind of want to give you an idea. So I'm going to take 3 of these chunky slat wood pieces from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree, and we're going to glue them together end to end to make a nice chunky little sign that we can decorate with that galvanized metal seahorse sign. So you can use that craft wood to kind of make, whatever you want. It's cut well, and this is going to be just the right size. I want to go with like a Caribbean blue mixed with ivory color again, one of my favorite combinations. I have found this color at Walmart. I think it was called Cloudless. It's just a very soft blue. It works really well for coastal DIYs. And so we're going to go over the front of our new sign, also the edges, anywhere where you're going to be able to see it when this is sitting on my shelf. And I always like to distress my blue pieces, so I do go over it with a little ivory and a chunky brush, just kind of working in one direction, making sure I definitely get the edges, kind of blending that in, and also going to distress the edges. I really love that for a coastal farmhouse vibe. And then what I want to do is attach the little metal starfish. It is a seahorse, Julie, sign to the front. They also do have starfish though, and they have an anchor one as well. But I don't want it the galvanized metal. I just don't like it very much like that. So I thought we would give it a go at painting this. Sometimes I've heard that you can't paint these, that they do scratch. One of y'all just put in my comments the other day that if you Mod Podge it after, it doesn't scratch. So that might be a little tip to try. But as you can see, I'm using ivory paint and just distressing it all over. And I'm trying to cover up as much of that metal as I can. If a little shows through, because I am distressing it, that's fine. But I'm just trying to get pretty good coverage to give myself a cute little sign to attach to the front of the blue sign that we DIY'd. Now, I did think I wasn't getting enough coverage, so I do go in there, mix a little bit more white with it, and go on a little heavier just to get a little bit better coverage. And then I'm going to sponge on some of that Caribbean blue paint to the seahorse with a makeup sponge just to kind of make that pop. And then we're going to decorate it with another glass sticker. This one says "Meet Me by the Sea," and it has a little seahorse on there. Now, as you can see, it's not the right size, but you know what? We are going to make it work. These are a great option if you don't have a Cricut or you don't want to break one out. They are definitely a lot easier than setting that all up. What I did was just cut the "Meet Me by the" and the "Sea" off separately into two pieces so I could put them together and make a long sign instead of a square sign. So I think that looks really cute. We're going to set "Sea" over here, just peel and stick, and then "Meet Me by the" over here. And if you don't like the position, you can peel and stick. I'm not sure how long it takes for that to set up, but I do want to secure it on there with Mod Podge, so I do go over the top to help seal that down and make sure that it doesn't come off. So I guess I did seal some of the paint with Mod Podge, right? And then I'm going to distress it lightly with some more of that ivory and a chunky brush just to kind of make it look more like part of the sign, less like a sticker is always my goal with those. And I'm going to distress our cute little seahorse as well. And it really looks like a completely different sign now, all painted, and like the white scroll sides I think really goes well with that ivory color. And then I'm going to kind of distress with the blue color just to give it more of a coastal vibe. The original sign was the blue distressed in ivory. This is ivory distressed in blue. And I distress over all of that sticker with the blue as well. And that also helps it blend in. If you ever find that you're distressing too much, just wipe it off with a baby wipe and you should be good to go. Now I want to secure it to the front. It does have little hangers on there if you want to use those to attach it. Now I got it on there and I really didn't like the red color, so this is me being extra with a little aqua paint pen and changing mine from red to blue to match the rest of it. Which was really not that hard to do, but I did have to go over it a couple of times just to get good coverage. And then I'm going to slightly distress that as well to kind of blend that in with the rest of the project. I think this sign turned out really cute. I have some small shelves like in my TV cabinet that this is the perfect height for. So I'm going to take advantage of those holes just by using some screws and screwing that into our sign. And this is how it turned out, our little meet me by the sea sign. So just an idea of what you can do with those little metal scroll signs. If you have one or see them and you don't really know what to do with them, here is a fun option. This is one of the Shore Living houses. They've had these the past 2 years at my Dollar Tree. I haven't seen them this year, but my stores usually have them a lot. I like this one because I like the color, and it says on beach time, but I don't like the little foam glitter starfish they put on there, so I always try to find a way to replace that. I also want to just kind of make it look a little bit better, so I distressed the wood roof with a little bit of ivory mixed with Antique Wax by Waverly to give me more of a driftwood feel, and I'm going to do that on the sides as well. And then I am going to distress the house with some ivory just to break up that blue a little bit, make it look less like paper and more like a cute little beach house. I've used these houses a lot for tier trays and stuff like that. I'm going to make this one for a cabinet to go on a shelf. Then I'm going to use some of these craft wood pieces. These are from Crafter Square. I'm using the seashell one. You could also use the little wood pieces from the Shore Living line. They have wood. These are like little craft board cutouts. I distress mine with some of that driftwood color that we mixed up, just to kind of make it look nice and weathered. And I think that looks a lot better than the little glitter foam sticker that they come with. So I'm just going to carefully hot glue that on right there to replace it. And this DIY or a Dollar Tree Shore Living makeover was super easy to do. I am going to go ahead and use that driftwood color all along the sides just because I kind of already did the roof line like that, and just to make it look a little bit more finished. And there we go. It looks super cute, very coastal, and it's going to look great with my decor. And this is how it looks in my cabinet for the summer. Hey guys, I wanted to tell you about memberships. I have introduced them on my channel for $4.99 a month. You could support me here on YouTube. You're going to get early access to my videos like this one. You're also going to get a shout out and other perks in my videos. And I have 4 Crafty Beach Fun members now. I want to give a big thank you to Coastal Couple. I am Mojo Jojo, Karen O'Haron, and Pamela Bergeron. Hope I'm saying those names right. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. I really appreciate you. And now it's time for the final reveal. Don't forget to like this video, comment your favorite DIY below, and don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 15,000.
I get a little bit breathless. My thoughts are too big. Can I get some comfort, please? I guess I should have been honest. A break to my heart. It's weighing me down, baby. I'm like a river that's overflowed. The sooner you know it, the less do we hurt. Let me speak the truth. I know you don't want to face it. You think it's too late, but I can see past the rain. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire on the beach with the stars as our lighters. throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. We fell down to the bottom, so bottom up please. We're gonna get over this. I see the smoke in the mirrors. I'm holding the key, one step away from salvation. You're like the ocean, setting me free. Out in the open, I'm picking up speed. No bad thoughts penetrate. Hold me like this is the first time. Our destiny calls, not leaving this incomplete. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire on the beach with the stars as our lighters, and throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. And throw our problems in the flames. Ooh, throw our problems in the flame. I get a little bit breathless. My thoughts are too big. Can I get some comfort, please?
I hope you enjoyed those shore living DIYs. Thank you so much for watching. And if you'd like to watch more Crafty Beach here on YouTube, YouTube thinks you might enjoy this video right here.